The Open Hand Foundation was founded by well-known YouTuber Gerard Khalil, more commonly known by his channel name The Completionist. Founded as a tribute to his mother who had unfortunately died due to complications of dementia, the Open Hand Foundation was a charity focused on the patients of the illness and their families, hoping to support and aid their treatment, care, and general life quality. On paper, the mission of the charity was not just a charitable endeavor for Gerard, but also a personal crusade to honor his late mother. However, public perception of the charity and Gerard began to sour as allegations of misappropriated funds began to flood the internet. It is believed that the foundation had kept well over 600,000 USD that was donated to the charity in the hopes of the money reaching a good cause. As word began to spread, prominent YouTubers such as Muta and Carl Jobs began to investigate the claims. Their respective investigations laid bare the discrepancies in the foundation's financial activity and ultimately challenged the transparency and integrity of the foundation's work. Their findings suggested that funds raised for over a decade, which were originally intended to support research and aid, never actually reached those in need, but instead remained in the foundation's account untouched. This not only sparked outrage among the donors and supporters of Gerard and the foundation, but also began to raise questions on the ethics and accountability of online charitable initiatives, with some comparing it to the Save the Kids token scam from years before. This scandal has highlighted the need for stricter oversight and transparency in influencer charity work, and ultimately serves as a warning about the potential misuse of influence and trust, especially in situations where a personal and ultimately parasocial connection can manipulate someone's view on an emotional narrative. The Completionist, who boasts 1.63 million subscribers on YouTube, ran yearly fundraising events called Indieland, in which online personalities and celebrities came together to raise money directly for the Open Hand Foundation. Indie Lab is a celebration of indie games with a mission to raise money for this charity over a 30-hour span, with a ton of developers, influencers, and pop culture icons dropping in for the calls. At least that's what the website says. All proceeds earned during the event goes to the Open Hand Foundation. The Completionist has said during these streams that the money raised goes to organizations all over the world, such as the University of California, San Francisco, the Alzheimer's Association, and so many more. The Open Hand Foundation isn't listed as a partner or donor on the Alzheimer's Association's website, and while the University of California, San Francisco doesn't keep a list of donors, nothing on his website suggests a connection to the Open Hand Foundation. Publicly available tax filings have proved that the charity has raised in total $665,520 since its inception, but to this day has not donated a single penny, despite recording tens of thousands in administrative expenses. As shown in the tax filings available between 2016 and 2020. Back in 2014, the Open Hand Foundation raised $33,000 in contributions. They had zero operating expenses. Usually, this would mean that there would be $33,000 going towards the causes, but at the end of 2014, they had $33,700 sitting in their account. And by 2015, the foundation had actually raised $60,000 and spent $27,000 of that. But now they have $66,000 in the bank, up from the original $33,000. When asked for an explanation by Carl Jobs, the Completionist brother Jackie Khalil said that the Open Hand Foundation was taking a vigilant approach to selecting who should receive the money and has been evaluating potential beneficiaries. They said that the beneficiaries must align with their vision since its forming, and while the Open Hand Foundation claims to have been operating since 2003, it wasn't actually registered as a non-profit until 2014. They stated that prior to their official registration as a foundation, they donated body parts for research and made several financial contributions to an institution that, in their opinion, made insufficient progress in the fight against these debilitating conditions. This prior experience taught them the importance of careful consideration in partnerships, and is apparently the reason why they continue to search for a proper partner and recipient of the donations. In his response to Jobs, Jackie Khalil had outright denied any wrongdoing, stating that while we understand the necessity of due diligence in charitable engagements, the insinuation of any wrongdoing on the part of the Open Hand Foundation is both unwarranted and unfounded. He said that we conduct our operations within the bounds of legal and ethical standards, and that any implication to the contrary is baseless. Our foundation has always acted in good faith, and we take any suggestions of impropriety very seriously. We stand firm on our record and integrity. In relation to this, Mutahar has also provided audio of what seems to be a call with Gerard himself, in which he states that the money was sitting there at a certain point, and claimed that this is what actually made him proactively begin to look into it, not the fact that there were several allegations against him, but we move on. He stated that I was made aware in 2021 that the money hadn't moved yet, and that's what made me go, that's not fucking cool. And that's when I personally got involved to move it, and not 2021, last year, 2022. So he started moving the money on his own in 2022, so say, but there's been no evidence of donations just yet. Despite these statements, Gerard continued to claim that the foundation was contributing to various organizations with no evidence or proof whatsoever. Further discrepancies were beginning to show, such as a quote on the Open Hand Foundation website from UCSF Dean David Kessler, in which he states that he was deeply grateful for the recent gift to the School of Medicine and their support of frontotemporal dementia and relative degenerative diseases research is invaluable. Which is interesting, actually, because Kessler was fired from his role at UCSF in 2007, a full 7 years before the foundation was even registered as a non-profit. This led many to wonder why or how the quote is even on the foundation's website. Kessler's role is even more suspicious when you look into the reason for him being fired, with UCSF stating that he had begun to raise questions over the UCSF finances, claiming that UCSF promised future funding over a continuous period, even over a span of decades. And while this doesn't explain the lack of donations to other charities, it could portray Kessler, who was desperate for funding and angry at UCSF, as a bad actor who was ultimately complicit with the charity's misappropriations of funds. Jackie Khalil claims that before their registration as a foundation, they donated body parts for research and made financial contributions to an institution. To which Jobs added that essentially Open Hand is claiming that they made donations before they were registered in 2014, but we can't confirm it because it wasn't public at the time, which to them means it is acceptable to not pass along all of the money that the public has given them until they find someone that they deem worthy. Gerard assures us that they still have the full amount of money and are looking to donate as soon as possible. However, due to the Open Hand's past dishonesty, we need concrete proof of when this donation happens. Although the completionist has not addressed the issue publicly, Carl Jobs shared screenshots of his email and suggested that the Open Hand Foundation attempted to remove his video by filing a privacy complaint to YouTube. The Twitter post read, "Someone within the Open Hand Foundation made a privacy complaint against my video. YouTube rejected it." And although the email does not explicitly mention the foundation's name, Carl Jobs explained that YouTube does not permit random individuals to file complaints on behalf of others. This led him to suggest that the complaint likely originated from the completionist or his Open Hand Foundation. YouTube only accepts complaints from first parties, so you can't file a complaint on behalf of someone else, so either it was them, most likely, and no reason to believe otherwise, or someone convinced YouTube it was them. Online reactions to the videos quickly started to spread across social media, with initial reactions being largely negative against Gerard and his brand. For example, on November the 13th, Twitter user Jay Philly uploaded a variation of the "I'm doing my part" meme featuring different charity foundations, with the Open Hand Foundation being the last segment, during which Tim Robinson complains that he didn't do anything, receiving nearly 100 likes in 3 hours. Another example is on November the 13th as well, with Kitten Fox uploading a screenshot from the Completionist channel, in which the point of the video was to buy every single game on the Nintendo eShop before it was shut down, explicitly stating that the money from the charity was spent on buying Nintendo online games. The post garnered over 650 likes and 150 retweets in 1 hour. As of the time of recording, the Open Hand Foundation continues to face scrutiny over the alleged withholding of over $600,000 intended for dementia research. Despite previous claims of supporting relevant organizations, there is no clear evidence of the funds being appropriately dispersed. Gerard is yet to find a suitable recipient for the funds, and amidst these ongoing allegations, neither Khalil nor the foundation has publicly responded to the accusations. It is unclear whether the money will ever go to his intended charities or if the foundation will come clean and admit wrongdoing. The amount held is a life-changing amount of money that would allow for an insane amount of research and development into the disease that unfortunately took Gerard's mother. But unfortunately, his grief twisted into greed. Gerard had formed the perfect scam, using philanthropy and emotional turmoil to raise just shy of $1 million, only to keep it in a closed account as if it was a trophy on a shelf. And instead of supporting individuals who will unfortunately meet the same fate as his mother, he continues to keep the scam going, choosing Nintendo games over his mother's legacy.